want to take a few minutes to walk through why it's so important for us to work within our own rhythms and re regulate our bodies. A lot of times when I'm working with my clients, we're looking at issues around fear of persecution, fear of people like trolling, which, I mean, let's be real, putting ourselves out there, that's just part of the game because people don't have anything better to do with their time, right? So this is a thing. This is just part of this process of showing up, putting ourselves out there, teaching others, sharing our gifts, sharing our abilities. This persecution wound exists because we have inherited it through our ancestors. We have inherited it as generational or ancestral trauma. We've inherited it from our parents, teaching us, programming us, don't show up, don't speak, don't share your feelings. That's weird. Don't talk about that, right? So we have all of this kind of built up within us. We also have these programs around our worthiness, around money, around everything about the safety of the world pertaining to different experiences that we've had that have been lower vibrational throughout our childhood, early adulthood, and even in our adulthood. So we have all of this stuff, right? All of this energy in our body. That energy has a particular frequency, and it's a frequency that is a match to more of the same energy, right? Like attracts like. So we've got this frequency, it's going to continue to attract like frequency. So when we're going in and we're doing stuff to clear these energies out of the body, we're finding that it can be very challenging to get them to leave. So I hear a lot of this from women who come to me and they're talking about, I've done this work and it just seems like I keep repeating these same cycles. It'll like things get better for a while and then I have this boomerang effect, right? Or that rubber band effect where it's like I get a certain way and then it snaps back with self-sabotage. The reason for this is because that energy is trapped in the cells. So if we understand the way that this works, the energy gets trapped in the cells and it's in our DNA. So if we have specific low vibrational energy in our cells, and we have inflammation in our body, which has caused that cell to armor itself, not only can we not get stuff into that cell that we need, but stuff can't get out, meaning that trauma, that pain, that energy, all of that stuff within that cell, it can't get out. It's stuck because this armor around the cell. So one of the things that we need to make sure that we're doing, if we're really wanting the result to last of doing these clearings, of doing the somatic work, of doing the healings and the meditation and, raising our vibration and reprogramming beliefs, we have to make sure that that stuff is getting out of our body. And if we want it to get out of our body, then we need to make sure that we are being a good host for that to happen. Meaning we are priming our bodies in a way that are going to allow and facilitate these energies to move out, to be released from the cell and then moved out of the body. So this is why when I work with clients, especially with my untangled technique, we go through and we actually do physical releases for the body to help move the energy, but we also include some habits in our daily life that enable the body to start kind of rebalancing. One of the big things I teach my clients is cycle syncing. So when we sync our cycles with our life, or actually vice versa, we sync our life with our cycles, we start to bring harmony back to our physical energetics. Okay. So the female body is not like the male body. We have a 28 to 29 day cycle on average. It averages around the same time as the moon. Some women have shorter, anywhere from 21 days, and some go up to about 31 days. But the average and kind of the goal is to have it around that 28, 29 day mark, which is like the moon cycle. So we are changing a lot over those 28 days. We have 4 different phases that we go through, and our hormones are very much in a constant state of change throughout those different stages. So the first stage that we go through starts with our period. That's day 1 of our cycle. And we go through that menstruation phase, right? The menstrual phase. So that is the duration of the period. And then once that phase ends, we move into the follicular phase. And then from there, we go into our ovulation window. And then from there, we have the luteal phase, which kind of has 2 phases of itself within that. And then we go and we start over. So hormones are very low during the menstrual phase. And then as we go into the follicular phase, they're increasing so that they can be at their height for ovulation, right? This is where like lots of juices are flowing, lots of yummy energies coming in. So they're working on rising up. And then after the ovulation happens, they start to dip down again. So coming out of ovulation, we still have some energy. We're still kind of in that yummy energy of all of those hormones going through us. But then as they start to taper down and the body's working to produce progesterone so that we can move into the shedding and the detoxification of our uterus, there's a lot of hormonal shifts that happen in that luteal phase. So when we can understand what's happening within our body while we go through our everyday life, it's going to help us bring back some regulation to ourselves. So this is why I teach, like, what should we do in our workday, depending on where we are in our cycle.
Hey, Nancy here. Sorry to interrupt this video right now, but I want to remind you, if you are looking to improve your feminine embodiment and want to stand more in your feminine power, go ahead and grab my authority activation today. You can either click the link below in the description or scan the code right here.
How should we be feeding and nourishing ourselves according to that? How should I be working in my manifestation practice? How should I be focusing my self-care? What about how I like energetically build myself up through exercise? There's lots of different things that we can do to work within our natural energy. And so I want to make sure that I'm being very clear that at no point am I giving any kind of like medical advice or information. This is just science. It's just information based on the way that our bodies work. So understanding this information, though, really helps us to reconfigure the body. So if we start to learn how to operate within those realms, we start to learn how to support ourselves within those realms through what we're bringing in through nourishment to really feed the needs of the body and make sure that we're supporting ourselves in our business in certain ways. This is going to help bring more peace and regulation into the body instead of us constantly feeling like we're fighting against our natural needs, which is what most of us have been taught to do, right? Ignore our own needs and make sure that we're satisfying and meeting everyone else's. And this is where that burnout comes from. This is where we get really hard on ourselves because we're holding on to excess because our bodies are in a constant state of flight or fight. And the body is not going to release stuff if we're in that constant state of flight or fight. It's going to hold on to it because it's inflamed and it's shut down and in fear. Just like how we're not going to be able to create. We're not going to be able to birth new ideas and release that information and that energy from our body if we're in this constant shut down energy, right? It's not possible. So allowing ourselves to operate in a way where we're going to be in flow, where we're going to be able to allow the body to be in this more regulated state, this allows for things to start being able to move out. This allows for things to start being able to be released and set free from the body. So this is why I'm actually going to be hosting a class where I'm going to go into all of the details on this. Like I'm going to break it down. I've got diagrams. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to be doing in your business, for your energetics, for your nourishment. during certain times of your cycle and how to support yourself and align your energy in a healthy and beautiful way so that you can operate at your fullest. So I'm going to make sure to link that information down below in the description or up above in the description, depending on where this video is. But I invite you to join me for that class. And if the class is already passed, you can watch the replay. That's still going to be available. So still look for the link there. But this is going to be a really powerful class where we're going to dig into all of this kind of stuff so we can really maximize this potent energy that we carry within ourselves that we have been taught to just ignore. It's like we've just been told, just ignore it. You're being emotional, or you're being hormonal, or you're being dramatic. There are certain times where certain activities in our business are better for us to do than others. There are certain times when we should be taking more rest. We absolutely need to have that rest. And other times when we can really go and push. And so learning how to operate our businesses within these different realms and within these different windows and allow ourselves to recalibrate the energies, it's a game changer. It changes everything. And it also supports our body and puts it in a state of feeling safe to release and let go all of this old stored energy. So as we can remove it and finally allow it to move out of the body, we're then able to reprogram it, and it's going to hold. The reprogramming will hold because now we don't have this old energy and the body's still sitting there being a vibrational match to the same old, right? So if it's stuck there, it's not going anywhere. And it's still like little radio towers to, narcissistic partners or, lack mentality or money issues. It's still there in the cell. So getting our bodies into a space where it can release that, we're then no longer going to be little radio signals to call in that kind of stuff, because we're going to have allowed the body to flush it out and release it. And then we can really then reprogram so that we can attract those things that we actually desire and want to experience in this reality. Because we are very, very powerful creatrixes, and you can have what it is that you want. We just need to clear the other stuff out. It's just not your fault if you've been frustrated and you're like, gosh, I swear I'm doing everything. I'm doing all the things. I'm working so hard. I'm doing healings. I'm meditating. I'm doing yoga, but it's still not working. What am I missing? This is what you're missing. You're missing putting your body back into a regulated state so that it feels safe to release and let go. All right, so I'll walk you through all of that if you want to join me for that class. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. I hope that this was helpful, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.